Hello and welcome to the Amateur Football YouTube channel with myself, Tobrise, the best centre back in grassroots football. Isn't that right, Asher?
No, that's not right. But yeah,
Thank you, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I've got an absolute, great guest, and it's an absolute honor to literally have Asher from Sporting Santos on the show today. How you doing, sir?
yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well yourself.
Yeah, I'm actually well now. I mean, hey, watching you guys play, and and again, thank you for all of your support. But yeah, all is good, all is good. Um, we have a huge game coming up this Saturday, but before we kind of talk about that, let me just kind of pull up the table at this present moment, and the table is looking like this. So Santos are first, Independent second, Cray third, Wallington A fourth, London South B fifth, Catford sixth, Seagas seventh, Bow Street eighth, Leone Stars ninth, and Norwood Lakers 10th. So
Hmm.
quite quite interesting. Because of course, what I would say independent at at that moment of time were like top, and you guys beat Catford last week to literally regain top position. I mean, how does that feel for like you now actually being at the summit of Division Two?
I mean, of course, the team is delighted with the result at the weekend, and the position that it puts us in is quite favourable. But that being said, the work hasn't been done yet. I think we needed to get the result. The Catford, we did. I think we deserved that also to get that result. But now we need another result. So it's almost the there's no hangover from that game because we need to be focused and go into another game with a very good side as well. So I mean, it's nice to be at the top, but there's still a little way to go before we can say anything concrete about being at the top feels like.
Mm, cool.
Mm.
And you like spoke about the Catford game, and yeah, hey, like I was at the game with some of the independent guys, and it was a kind of
Mhm.
good turnout. I would love to get your analysis of the game.
I think my analysis of the game is, of course, going to be different to somebody who was watching from the side as opposed to someone that was, played majority of the game. Um, I think that we was probably a lot more hungrier than them
Mm,
from the get go, and I think there's different things at stake in the game. For Catford, it would have been another 3 points on a stepping stone towards them finishing higher um, in the table, and to us, it was a case to put us in a position which we are now, which we just spoke about, on top of the league. Obviously, we have the better goal difference than Independent currently, but the stats are the same. Won the same amount of games, drawn the same amount of games, lost the same amount of games. Um, I think it was important for us to go out and give a performance to show that you know we mean business and that we are worthy kind of challengers for the title. Um, Catford, very good team since their resurgence. Of course, very new team. Took them a while just to get their self together. I think they play at a very high intensity and keep the ball, knock the ball around really well. So it was just really important for us to keep our shape because we know that on the counter and going forwards that we're as good as anyone. Um, so I think it was just the way I saw it was important for us to keep our shape and let them play in front of us and then let them try and break the lines, which fortunately for us didn't happen too often until the very last stages of the game. And I feel that was kind of us maybe taking a foot off the pedal, or one was a mistake, as you probably saw.
yeah.
Should never pass the ball across your own box. um, Put it into row Z, anywhere. So that happened, and they took both their chances really well. But I feel that we was very clinical. But had we been more clinical, we probably could have wrapped the game up a lot sooner than we did.
Yeah. And what I noticed, especially for I'd say halfway through the first half, it was a little bit, you know, I would say it was
Quite
evenly balanced.
cagey.
Yeah. Cagey, no one really wanted to make a mistake until I'd say the second goal, which was the penalty. And Kelvin.
That's correct.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, again, I know I mentioned the 7-step rule. I don't know if he actually means to actually do that, but when you kind of watch his movement and literally how he kind of slowed down the like centre back to actually go again, and like he kept on doing that as well, like a very impressive, very intelligent player. And I
Mm.
think the moment you guys got your second goal, personally, I knew that there was no way back for Catford.
Yeah, I guess some people may have felt that way, but certainly since we played them in the semi-final and we was 2 goals up, and they came back to win the game in extra time. So I think at that point there we knew that yeah, it's 2 goals, but it's easily kind of achievable at this level, quote unquote, to get 2 goals and come back into the game. Just going back to Kelvin, Kelvin's a very dynamic player, and he's kind of like a nightmare because he doesn't stop moving, and defenders don't really like when someone's moving all over the shop. He drag you left, he drag you right. Um, Not too sure about that 7-step sequence stuff. That's above my grade. That's above my grade. Sorry, but his movement is good, as well as kind of all our forwards, Brett, Dan, Cedric, all played up there alongside each other, just very good in between the lines and making the run into the channels, etc.
Mm. And that you played in numerous positions as well on against Catford, right?
Yeah, so I started. Yeah, so the first we played Catford. So we played Catford 3 times in the space of like a month and a half. Quite frankly, I'm quite happy to see the back of them because I feel like I'm sick of seeing them. You know what I mean? But in a good way,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So the first time we played them, I played centre mid. The second game, I played left back, and then the game on Saturday, I started at right back, and then I moved into the middle, centre mid, and then I moved wide left. And it's just what the management thought was best for us at the game in terms of managing it and managing the key areas where they could become effective, and just needed someone in there with kind of a lot of energy and a bit of aggression to have them passing sideways and backwards rather than going through our lines or down the channels and over the top. And
Yeah.
that was pretty much my job. It was not to stand out, basically. It was just to do the gritty stuff,
Yeah.
the stuff that probably goes unnoticed a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was a ball in the second half where the ball bounced almost around the 18-yard box, and I think you came from left back to come and cover your centre back, and you rose maybe a second earlier than the Catford striker to actually win the ball. And a lot of players would have shirked out. I'd say would have shirked out of that challenge, or literally would have kind of turned their back. But you went straight through and you kind of got the ball, and the ball went out for a throw in. And again, exactly what you said before. It's that grittiness. Is that someone that's just very industrial, that goes unnoticed sometimes, and that's what you have. And again, from you move from left back to right back to centre mid to left wing, it means that you're very versatile, and also the management trusts you in every single position.
Yeah, I try to be, but I will be completely honest. It does help to have kind of our gaffer, the centre back Luke, um, who talks a lot. So he tells you exactly where he wants you. He tells you where your man is if you're not with him, sort of the stuff that you can't hear because you're so far away, but on the pitch you can hear what he's saying. So obviously that sets you up to be in the right positions, etc. He's pretty good at organising us, making sure that we are where we are when we need to be to do that kind of covering stuff. So he's good at that, so it helps. But yeah, I guess I do have the vote of confidence from the management. Kind of feel like I've earned it, showing that I can play multiple positions and still give a good level of performance. So yeah, hopefully I get to play in my true position one day.
So so I mean, it's like funny because of course we've been mentioning Santos on the Sunday show, and anyone who's familiar with Division Two, that Santos have kind of always been like this, like scoring like a lot of goals, don't really concede a lot. Could you kind of talk about like Sporting Santos, for like a little bit in terms of how they kind of the like club formed, and again, any kind of ambitions that like you think Sporting Santos should be achieving in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I do know about the history, but I couldn't tell you about the history off the top of my head. I know that they have won all the divisions, and they've won Division One a few times. So I think back then there was a couple of times. I want to say a couple of teams. Sorry, I want to say there one bell was around. Santos was about, and there was another team. Maybe I think it was Reginald.
Okay.
A team called Reginald, and I think we'd won it a couple of times. Obviously, one bell had won it numerous times. I think Reginald maybe won it once or twice as well again. So the team has been around for a good while, but I am relatively new in the sense of I'm only 37 years old, so I haven't been on the vet scene for very long. My first season was with the first season where I played you down at Croydon. Was it Croydon?
Yeah.
So that a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
that was a first season. And I think that was maybe your first season in vets, independent.
No, I mean that. I think that was my what was in as in like the team.
In independent. Yeah.
I think that was a second season.
And you just come up into the second, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the next season, as we know, was halted by COVID, so wasn't really much going on. And so if we forward to this season, as you would know, since the very first time he played us, we recruited a lot of new players. We also got a new manager as well. So on the basis, like, it's still a newish team, as in terms of the personnel, but a team that has been around for a while. So sort of the ambitions was to, get promoted, to go up, and we see ourselves in a position that we can do that. It wasn't to put any pressure on anybody, and so we had a conversation at the very beginning of the season, and it was, what do you want from this? Is it a case of you want to meet up with your friends and just have a kickabout and have a laugh, or do you want to go and compete and do that? And of course, we all made a decision. Of course, we want to compete. We made some changes. We started to implement training because, believe it or not, before that we didn't train. We just everyone just came together and managed their own fitness as they saw fit, and which has helped massively. We had introduction of a coach, a very good coach, Mickey, who assists with match day and training, etc., and has a very vast knowledge of sort of like shape, and teaching us basics, because at 35 you're never too old to learn.
True.
And if you think you can't learn, then I think you're not necessarily someone that needs to be in with the team and what we're trying to achieve, because we will need to be open-minded in order to move forwards, and learning doesn't have a cap, in all through ages. And I think that kind of brings us to where we are at the moment, where we're sitting joint top with independent, a few hiccups here and there, but that's football.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, you have to be truly top level to not you
Yeah.
know, have a lapse in conversation, I mean, in a lapse in concentration, etc. So yeah,
Yeah.
that brings us to where we are, and hopefully we can keep moving forward, and then bring sport, the name sporting along. And as always, we try to handle ourselves in a good manner, win,
Mm,
lose, draw, whatever the result. Of course, at times things will get heated, but like that's the nature of the game, and just the
mm,
passion of everyone else.
mm.
We're just trying to bring the name forward and give it a good reputation.
Yeah, love that. And what was your perception of Vets football before you entered, and has your perception changed now you're in Vets?
To be honest, I never knew too much about it at all. So how I come to Santos is one of my friends was playing, and he was just like, "Oh, listen, we're short, and we've been short for a few weeks. What do you feel? How do you feel about coming to play, etc." And I hadn't played for about 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, for like just had a hiatus. Um, life life was just going on, um, and I had more time at the weekend. I'd have every other weekend. I have one of my daughters, um, and that was just kind of like what I was doing, to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
honest.
yeah,
On having one free weekend and then another one with the kids, and well, she's a lot older now, so um, still requires my time, but not as much because she's nearly a teenager. So if you have a
yeah,
teenager, you know what they're like.
yeah,
um, and so I came along and I just played a few games, and then that was it. I fell back in love with the sport. Not that I fell out of love with it. I just hadn't played for so long that
mm,
I hadn't had a buzz. I come
yeah,
back, had a buzz, started playing, and I've been at Santos ever since. I guess the only difference is that this season I kind of took a step towards management, sort of like I just assist with helping out, you know, admin kind of things, training, etc. Subs. You know,
yeah,
see me,
yeah,
you see me walking around with the card reader, you know what I'm after. But yeah, so just to assist, and I didn't want the team to fold. I felt like we could, not that it was going to fold, but it was kind of scarce. We needed players. We needed people that would turn up every week, not just 11s and 12s, but 15s and
mm,
16s, which is where we're at now.
yeah.
And yeah, that my kind of perception is I didn't know much about it, but I'm glad that I'm involved with it.
Yeah, yeah. And like now there's a kind of big influx of 35, 36, even 30, 37 year olds, very young
Hmm.
vets now that literally want to come into a very competitive division, which is kind of only good for the sport because again, I guess a division like what we're playing in now in Division Two,
Yeah,
when like people actually look at it, they actually see how competitive and how tight it is now, right?
yeah, and I think that's a great thing. I th- I guess this is my first full season, and I think it's great. And it's like you said on your show that well, there's a good like 7, 8 teams that if you're having a bad day, they will take points off you.
Yeah.
um, and that's good because it requires you to be at your best as an individual, as a team. Every time you go out there, you need to be prepared. Like you can't just be rolling up 15 minutes before kickoff and thinking, yeah, we're going to do some damage. It doesn't work like that at all.
Mm, mm,
Um, I think I don't know too much about the lower leagues. I know there's some super vets, and then um, Division 3 and 4 also quite competitive. Um, I know there's a lot of teams dropping out, folding. Hopefully, there's some new teams that want to come in
mm,
at the end of this season. But again, it comes down to whatever kind of grading system that the league have in terms of what divisions people go into.
mm,
Um, I do kind of think they should maybe, my opinion, get rid of the seventh division and push the teams forward. So some of the teams into the sixth, into the fifth, fourth, etc. Just to, um, I think that will make like every league probably have about 11 or 12 teams.
Yeah,
so you get a
yeah,
good amount of football.
yeah.
Mm.
And I kind of mentioned on like one of my shows regarding having some sort of live draw. And rather than just accepting a team that you're playing in, a League Cup or whatever cup it is it something that you guys would be happy to kind of get involved with? I mean, what like do you think about the league's I'd say active involvement with kind of not even just social media, but kind of getting involved in kind of doing like a live draw or like league fixtures?
Yeah, I mean, there is something that they could probably do in one of their committee meetings with the relevant representatives just there. I'm not sure how it's done currently, but I just know that there's one guy doing all the fixtures for about 7 leagues, so
Mm.
he's obviously under a bit of pressure there. There are some kind of like nooks and crannies, like December for us, for Cray. We didn't have a game for the whole of December. Cray didn't have
Wow.
a game for the whole of December, but
Mm.
we didn't play each other until January, February. So
Mm.
potentially we could have those fixtures there. Of course, there's the thing about only entering 2 cups because you won't be able to fulfill the fixtures or whatever else. Well, Cray had an 8 week break. I think Nick was saying on the show the other week we had a 4 week break. There doesn't really make any sense.
Mm.
Maybe we can enter more cups.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But again, these are volunteers, aren't they? They're people that don't get paid to do the things that they do. So I'm very thankful that they take time out to do this, and I guess we have to give them their flowers in some regards and some aspects of what they are doing, because they are running 7 leagues consistently, ensuring that there is officials as well, which is incredibly hard. Whether they're good, the standard is debatable, but again, at least there's someone there.
Yeah, very true. So let's kind of go straight to probably the most important game in both teams' seasons. Sporting Santos versus Independent. Oh yeah, well, I mean, I think I think I'm wrong to say whoever wins the league, because you guys don't have to win, but I don't think you're set up to draw. It's not really your ethos. It's not your kind of identity. How how big is this? Well, yeah, it's a loaded question, but how big is this game to
No, no doubt about it. It's like it's a big game. We both want the prize. I mean, the draw, of course, for us it is not to win or lose. But if we want to be crowned champions on that day, we have to win the game. And if you want to be champions on that day, you have to win that game, because I think mathematically, if Cray win all their games, they'll have 42 points. The maximum that either Santos or Independent can achieve is 44.
Mm.
If we draw, we'll both be on 42 points, and then it all comes down to goal difference. Obviously, ours is greater than yours and greater than Cray's, but Cray have 4 games.
Anything can happen, isn't it, in those 4 games?
Right, anything can happen. But I think our goal difference is, I think Cray's is about 19 and ours is
Yeah.
maybe 40 or something. So they'd have to score about 20, 21 or 20 something goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we've seen it there. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So again, you're like, goal difference is 40, Independence 32, Craze 19. So
Yeah, so they still have like a lot to do. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but it's still a lot to do as well.
mm,
And of course they can't slip up. They have to win every game, which of course is not easy. Also, hats off to them till they do. They're still a decent side, so I think a lot of them they will get through.
yeah.
But yeah, back to your question, we'll be looking to take all the points.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
to of course win the league, and you got to remember that you guys beat us already. So it's
yeah.
you know, and I always said at the beginning of the season, if you take 6 points off Santos or if you take 6 points off Independent, you'll probably win the league. Um, it hasn't happened to any of us. Yeah, well,
Yep.
there's still a possibility it could happen to us if you win the game. Um, but I'm confident in the team that we have and the setup that we have. And it's just going to be come down to moments, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, and in a kind of ideal world, I'd kind of love, for like any player that doesn't have a game on like Saturday to kind of come down. Let me kind of put up the details. Ash's kind of told me that it could be a half two kickoff, so apologies. But like I would say still kind of get there early, to kind of get your popcorn out. It's going to be a great game. Two like teams that literally would actually do credit in Division One, regardless. That kind of now battling out to actually win Division Two outright. So like, please get down to the Bellingham Leisure Centre, SE6 free BT, and yeah, if we could have 50, 60, up to even 100 people down there just to kind of create a great atmosphere. I mean, it'd be a great advert for like Bex football, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of teams still have games, but I think there will just be a lot of friends and family there. Like I think
Mm,
there was a good amount, good few people at the game on Saturday at Catford. Obviously, you guys, the Catford um, players and their support, and then our support. I think there was at least 50, 60 people easily,
mm.
possibly. But yeah, if you're not doing anything, there's a lot at stake.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, and I said, so I was yeah, today's Monday, so yesterday I did a video doing a bit of a review, and I stated that if kind of Santos for me want to win the game, they've got to play Asher in the centre mid. I think that's actually where the game is going to be won or lost. Because of course, individually, like you can't really pull them apart. Hence reason why, like it's so close. But
mhm.
it's the centre mid position where, like, I think you will shine. And again, that's kind of no pressure on management. It's kind of one of those things. But I mean, again,
Mm,
it's yeah. I mean,
it comes down to a lot of things. The personnel that's available will be the main thing as to who plays where, really. But I imagine that we'll have pretty much everyone available. Um, but unfortunately, that doesn't mean that you make the team.
mm,
So,
mm, yeah,
um, but no, thank you for the vote of confidence into, and the compliments. But I think, yeah, management will make the decision what they see fits best. I mean, I think you also said that Nathan needs to play there as well. And
yeah.
again, that depends on which personnel you have that
Mm,
are available in order for him to play that position. Because I know he's played quite a few positions for you. Also, he's a very good player. He's able to do that. Um, but yeah, I won't know until Thursday, Friday,
yeah, yeah,
possibly maybe
yeah.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And again, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not going to be a mistake that's going to cost it. Literally, whoever wins, I want it to be, a sublime piece of play,
Mhm.
and individual, you know, goal, or kind of something that can really kind of crown off this kind of season with like, so something special, right?
Yeah, that too, and I believe from the conversations that I've been having that we'll also have linesmen as well.
Okay.
So that's always a bonus. We need that for every game really, but I
Mm, mm.
understand the constraints that the league have with things like that. But um, that's what I've been hearing and been told that we should have linesmen. So hopefully that's fulfilled as well.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. And yeah, well, again, Ashley, honestly, thank you for coming on. I mean, if like anyone wants to kind of find Sporting, you know, can you kind of please put out your like socials if kind of, you know,
Yeah.
anyone wants to kind of join?
Currently only have an Instagram at the moment, but it's Sporting Santos Vets. Yeah, on Instagram you can find us easily. I'm sure you've tagged us in a few things and we've tagged you, so we're pretty much connected with a lot of the Vets teams. But yeah, Sporting Santos Vets FC.
Cool. Asher, I would wish you luck. No, you will. Well, listen. You know what? Something that I will definitely say. I wish both teams or both sets of players come off the pitch healthy. You know, no like
Yeah.
injuries. You know, that's kind of like something that I can definitely say. But I can't wish you good luck, man. Come on.
Yeah. Well, for 90 minutes is business,
Yeah.
and once that's done, you know, it's back to normal life. Obviously, there's bragging rights at stake as well, and all of that. But it's cool. It only lasts so long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But yeah, I mean, again, I know that there's gonna be like a few drinks afterwards. So yeah, and you know, and again, like a lot of us know each other as well. So yeah, it's gonna be blood and thunder. You know, and 90 minutes plus. But you know, afterwards, it's hopefully it's gonna be
A nice
fun and
day.
jokes.
Hopefully, it's a nice day.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, weather-wise.
yeah. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But Asher, honestly, thank you so much. And again, let me kind of put out the like banner quickly. So if anyone wants to kind of come down and literally watch the game, Bellingham Leisure Centre SE6 3BT kickoff will be between 2 and 3, but I'd say get down there early. Honestly, it's going to be an absolutely amazing game. You know, great players on show. I really kind of believe that this game will have everything. So again, anyone that's at a loose end, please kind of come down and also support the vets movement as well. So like Asher, thank you so much for like coming on. And again, guys, please like and subscribe. And yeah, you know what, Asher, sorry, I've got to say that I am the best grassroots centre back that you'll ever see in your life. Yes,
his name's Luke Hickey. Luke
Hey,
Hickey. Hey,
you,
Reese, leave that in. Leave that in.
Well, yeah. Okay. Cool. Asher, thank you so much, and and again, guys, please like and subscribe to the Amateur Football channel. Please go and like Sporting Santos Vets Instagram page. Again, they are kind of doing some kind of great stuff. And again, let me just repeat again, thank you for all of your support. Again,
no
DMing
problem.
me, like the advice, coming onto the show. Honestly, it's much appreciated. Thank you so much.
It's all good. Like I said, it's free. It's free to support people.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. And like, guys, we will like see you real soon.